here. I'd like to look at some checkmates with mate threats. So some checkmates are composed of a checkmating attack where every move is a check. In some cases the moves aren't checked but they threaten mate. So here is an important type of mate with a queen and pawn. The queen moves closer to the king, and next move the queen will move in mate. So in this position the white queen would love to get to here and then move in to mate on the square in front of the king. This is a very difficult square for black to defend. So let's say the queen moves up, and next move the queen will attempt to get into here. So what can happen is black can move his king in the corner, the queen moves up, the rook goes beside the king to defend this square, but now white can move his king up and threaten checkmate by taking the pawn and then swinging the rook over mate. Here, this is a very weak square, so the queen moves in. Whatever black does, next move queen takes pawn is mate. Here, black has very weak black squares around the king. As all the pawns are on white, they do not defend the black squares. So the queen moves in, and the bishop and the queen threaten mate on one of these two squares. Again, there are weak black squares around the king, with the pawns being on white. The queen moves in, and mates on g7 next move. So here, white starts by forcing the pawn forward. So white's threatening checkmate with the queen and bishop. The pawn is pinned, so it can't take the bishop. Pawn moves forward, queen moves closer to the checkmating square, and then, say if black moves the pawn, the queen moves in, and white will mate on g7. Another black square attack. Bishop gives check, king moves back, queen moves in, and again we're going to checkmate on the g7 square. Mate. Okay, now it appears black has just moved the pawn up to attack the queen. White could do an immediate discovered check by taking the pawn with the bishop, but that allows the king to escape somewhat. So first of all we tighten the noose around the king, and if black moves the rook to try to give the king a bit more freedom, we now have a checkmating 3. Bishop takes pawn, discovered check, king moves, queen check, also attacking the f7 square, king moves across and mate. Okay, so here the king is very open and is vulnerable on the g and the h files. So white moves the rook back, and it could have gone anywhere down here, and next move it'll swing across and give mate on the h file. Okay, so now black king looks reasonably safe due to his strong pawn barrier around the king. He's very weak on the back rank. So the queen moves in behind the king, and save. Black tries to give his king an escape. The queen will move in mate. So it didn't really matter if black moved the other pawn because we have a similar mate, as we'll see. So the queen moves to the back, pawn goes, queen moves back, pawn goes up, the king goes across, and then we've got mate there. In this position black has a weak back rank. If the rook moves off the back line, white can checkmate with the rook or the queen. So white takes advantage of that by offering the queen. If the rook takes it, we have mate, so the rook moves to defend g7. He pins the rook, and after the rook takes the rook, queen takes rook, checkmate. The black king is very weak on the h file. Rook moves across, and now the rook goes down, checkmate. Again, the open H file is trouble for black. Rook swings across to back up the queen. Black tries to make an escape. Queen takes the pawn, mate. So this time we start off with a check. King runs back. Now the rook will swing over and mate. So this pawn is under attack by the rook. Queen moves across to attack the pinned pawn. Pawn moves forward. Now white can mate with a rook sacrifice. Check and mate. The rook moves to the 7th rank, and it's impossible for black to defend. So he runs with the rook. Queen takes pawn, mate. Okay, now the king's open on the diagonal. White gives a check. King goes in the corner. Now we have the same position as before. The queen can move in. The rook defends the pawn, and rook down leads to mate. Okay, so this is unusual. Usually decisive attacks which lead to mate involve a queen or at least a rook. Here 3 minor pieces mate. Bishop takes the pawn check. King goes to the corner. Knight moves in, and the bishop mates. Now this is a fairly common mate with a knight, rook and pawn. Knight threatens mate on h8. There's nothing black can do. Rook moves to the corner, mate. Now this is quite a sneaky mate because of this bishop pinning the pawn to the king. Rook's on the open file. Knight swings over. Say black moves the rook. Rook goes down, mate. And the moment black's got some potentially weak black squares around the king, but they are guarded by the bishop. White gives check, forcing the bishop to take the knight. Takes the bishop back. Now these squares are weak, now that the black bishop has gone. And now there's mate on the back rank. So we've got 2 rooks here, so white starts an attack, drives the king up. Rook goes to the back rank, threatening mate in the corner. Now he mates. So again, black has weak black squares near the king. This time white breaks through with the rooks. So he starts off with a rook sacrifice. He's threatening mate down here, so the king may as well take. The second rook swings across, the king goes back and mate. Now, again we've got some weak black squares around the king. Queen moves in, threatening mate on g7. Pawn takes the knight. The pawn moves up, renewing the mate threat. And there was nothing black could have done to stop the mate. Now this square is very vulnerable, and this square is vulnerable. The pawn is pinned to the king. This pawn's pinned to the king as well. Pawn moves forward, threatening mate. Black blocks, but because this pawn is pinned, queen takes the pawn check, cannot be taken. King moves, and we have a mate. Now, black has a weak back rank, because the white pawn guards this square. So the king cannot leave the back rank. So the queen attacks the rook. If the rook had taken the queen, rook down would be mate. Now white moves the rook down, and it's mate. So again, this square is looking pretty weak. So white pins the rook to the king. Rook may as well take it. Now we have mate. So white starts off by threatening mate. Pawn goes forward. Queen's aiming to get in here and here. King moves in the corner. Queen threatens a mate. Rook defends. Now sacrifice. King takes a mate with the rook. So this time black has weak white squares around the king, owing to the pawns being on black squares. Knight swings across, threatening mate with the queen. Pawn takes the knight. Now white mates with the bishop covering the escape square. Now this is a pretty important attacking position of queen, knight and bishop. So white's outnumbering black on this square. He takes the pawn at check. The rook takes. We're going to take and mate on the back rank. King goes in corner. Queen threatens mate in here. Pawn takes the knight. Queen goes back mate. This is kind of fun because the white moves the queen forward and then it goes back to the square he came from to create the mate. Now, the black pawns look pretty sound, but we're very vulnerable in the middle. In fact, white can take the pawn straight away. But a neat mate threat is to swing the queen in, threatening mate. When the pawn takes it, white's got a choice of two mates in one. So the other mate was to go to e7. So, again, weak black squares around the king. We've got a bishop, a knight and a queen attacking. Bishop goes in, threatening mate on g7. Rook takes, knight mates. If the king had taken, instead of the rook, the queen would have gone to h8 mate. Again, weak black squares. Queen threatens mate. Pawn takes knight. Bishop threatens mate. Rook moves and then the mate. Now we've got the bishop pinning the pawn to the king. Bishop attacking the middle pawn. This is a manoeuvre I've seen many players miss, especially in blitz games. Queen goes in, cannot be taken, and next move mate. Now we've got weak white squares around the king, and we've got a rook, knight and queen. Knight swings in, threatening mate. Pawn takes it. If the rook had taken it, we had a back rank checkmate. Rook to queen takes the pawn check. King across, queen check. Rook goes over mate. Again, weak black squares. Knight threatens mate with the queen. Pawn takes knight. Rook check. King in the corner. Queen across mate. Again, attacking with the knight, rook and queen. Knight check. The king moves in the corner. We've got mate. Pawn takes the knight. Rook check. King in corner. Queen moves up, threatening mate on g7, f8, or f6. Rook goes across, queen takes pawn check, rook blocks, and mate. So this time we've got rook, knight, and queen attacking the weak black squares. Rook swings across, threatening mate on h7, pawn takes rook. Queen goes mate with the knight covering the fight square. So it's quite a sneaky one. Now, knight, rook and queen attacking again. Knight check. The rook pins the pawn to the king. King in corner. Rook sacrifice, threatening mate on h7. King takes. Queen gets closer to the king. King in corner. Queen threatens mate, which cannot be stopped. Now, white attacks the weak white squares around the king. Bishop threatens mate with the queen. King attempts to run. Queen check, driving the king to the middle. King comes out. Bishop mates with the rook, stopping the king from escaping. So now, similar sort of thing. Queen moves in, threatening mate. King moves. And it's the same as before. So this time we have a bishop, queen and rook attacking, and this square is vulnerable. So queen threatens mate. Pawn moves up. Queen goes in, threatening mate again, going around the pawn. King tries to make a run for it. Queen mates because the rook is cutting the king off. Now, the 7th rank is weak. The queen's attacking squares in front of the king. Rook moves down, and black won't be able to defend against the mate. So he moves the rook, just a useless move. Rook takes it, and then the queen mates. This time we've got mate with knight, rook and pawns. Knight gives a check. King goes up. Rook goes down, threatening mate. It doesn't matter if he moves a pawn, it's still mate. So we've got a queen, pawn and rook and bishop. So the g7 pawn's already under attack. Queen moves forward, threatening mate. If the pawn takes the queen, pawn takes pawn, discovered mate. What a queen sacrifice. Now this is a nice one. Got 3 minor pieces of queen attacking the weakened pawn formation in front of the king. Start with a queen sacrifice, threatening mate on 2 squares. Pawn takes the queen. Bishop goes in, mate. And of course there's many other patterns with mate threats. That gives you some of the important ones. Thank you for watching.